So hello my friends, I welcome all of you, almost 104,000 star seeds, light workers and wanderers to this session. In today's session, I have channeled the Pleiadians in order to ask about the three questions in particular. The first question is about what is the next Looking Glass event for April 2023 and how can we prepare for it? So this has been asked in today's session, and also the Pleiadians, they have given us an update regarding what happened for the previous Looking Glass event. So that has also been revealed in this. And also one of the fascinating things is they have described about the second query is about what are the 7 sub-densities, what are the 8 sub-densities of third density consciousness. So this has been expressed in detail, and the Pleiadians have also said that they wish that every single human on earth could watch this, because this, I believe, reveals why we are here on this journey in the earth planet. And this, my friends, this session is absolutely valuable. In that way you will understand where you are in your level of progression in the third density consciousness. So you'll understand that. And also I've asked about a simple method that can be used for the process of entering into enlightenment, and you'll find this to be so amazing and so practical that you will, I believe, you can use this in your day-to-day life. And I have also used it since I have listened to the session. And before the session begins, I want to say thank you to all of you for joining me on the Patreon, because we need to do a meditation again for this next Looking Glass, which I will host on my Patreon. If you want to join, the link is on the description. And also thank you so much for liking this video, because I believe the algorithm will help it to spread to other people who may need to hear this information at this time. And with that being said, enjoy the session, my friends.
We are the Pleiadians, and we greet you now in the light and in the love of the one infinite Creator. We are now communicating through this instrument's inner consciousness at this time for the purpose of transmitting our thoughts, which may be of aid to the human collective consciousness in this journey of transition towards higher states of vibrational existence in this timeline. However, it is vitally important for the people of your planet to remember to use inner discernment and only to accept those thoughts which resonate deeply with the inner heart, thereby leaving behind those thought forms which do not resonate. Furthermore, each entity on the Earth planet is entering into the next phase of its level of evolution. Furthermore, the first query relates with what is the Looking Glass event for the month of April 2023. We must state that firstly we shall give an update of the previous Looking Glass event. We must state that upon scanning the distortions of the vibration of your planet, the previous Looking Glass event was prevented in a way via the process of meditation and creating a shield around the Earth planet. Furthermore, we must also state that the next Looking Glass event which we can sense from the Looking Glass artifact relates with the Sun logos and the negative entities who are planning to attack on the Sun logos and the light that emanates from its bodily complex. This means that the negative entities are planning to attack on the Sun logos, and They want to stop the green lights emerging from the sun, which is mixed with other light. Of the sun logos, the green portion of the lights is responsible for providing the plants bodily complex who are present on the Earth planet with the ability to grow and create food products. Furthermore, the green portion of the lights, if it doesn't reach the Earth's planetary fields, will lead to the end of the process of photosynthesis, which, as known by your people, is required for the creation of food products in terms of plant life forms and other trees as known by your people. This may lead to a pause in the evolution of the Earth planet. Furthermore, the Orion social memory complex as well as the other negative entities desire to enter the sun body and create a device that will lead to the ending of creation of green lights, because the device that they will create will absorb all the green lights that may emanate from the sun logos, and this device, on capturing the green light, will prevent it from reaching outside the sun logos. Therefore, this will prevent the light entering the Earth's planetary fields to not have any components of the green portion of lights. Furthermore, we must state that this is being planned to be done on the timeline of around 22nd April of the month as known by your people. Furthermore, this can also be stopped by placing a blanket of love light shield around the sun through the process of meditation, and this will assist the Ashtar Command social memory complex in charging their social memory complex with lights and love energy to amplify the systems of protection around the sun logos. Furthermore, this is the next phase of the Looking Glass event, as we can sense. Further, we must state that the systems of discovery upon your planet are of such a nature that even the so-called scientists have discovered that the green lights which comes from the sun body and interacts with the aspect known as chlorophyll and plants and hemoglobin in the human bodily complex. It carries a message that is encrypted, and this message is related with the production of the components known as ATP as known by your people, which is the energy source for living cells. Therefore, without the green lights, there would be no ATP and life would not exist. Hence, it is vitally important that the protection at this time be taken a bit seriously by your people. Furthermore, we shall now address the second portion of the query, which relates with what are the sub-densities of the third density consciousness evolution. We must state that the concept of sub-densities is used by many of the entities on the Earth planet as well as many of the other dimensional beings to describe the progression of evolution of consciousness within the third density. And based upon this level of understanding and awareness of unity in love, an entity or group of entity has to achieve certain progression in order to reach into the highest levels of sub-densities. Furthermore, before we share this information, we wish that every human mind, body, and spirit complex on Earth could watch this to understand their journey through Earth which would allow them a clarity of the reason behind their incarnation cycles at this time. The first sub-density revolves around the most basic level of consciousness, wherein entities in the beginning stages of the third density incarnate and are barely self-aware. At this level, the so-called portion of the ego mind is not yet developed, and most of the memories are forgotten. This level of consciousness is often a direct proportion to the next evolutionary cycle after the later second density experience in the form of an animal life form resembling the pets upon your planet. Furthermore, in this level of first sub-density, the basic lessons are to be learned that of self-awareness. Then as the entity progresses, the second sub-density begins. In this level of consciousness, the entities are focused on survival, and the vibration of fear begins to develop. Furthermore, the creation of the new weak correctus instrument ego mind begins, and the identification with the physical bodily complexes begins. Further, the primary lesson at this stage of consciousness is to learn to survive and to protect the bodily complex from any types of distortions. Furthermore, then the entities become eligible for third sub-density of the third density, wherein once the entities have mastered the basic aspect of survival, they begin to develop desires. The desires are generated by the mind complex through images and words, leading to attachment to things of the illusion complex, and specifically attachment with those aspects which provide a sense of security and pleasure is found in this sub-density level. Furthermore, after the entities graduate from this level, they are incarnated into the fourth sub-density of the third density. In this level of sub-density, all entities are presented with a choice. The choice must be to choose either to serve others or to serve themselves. This choice is made by passing a subtle test which involves making a sacrifice for others, which means that those who choose to serve others by making a small sacrifice as a test in the timeline are put on the pathway of the positive path of learning the lessons of love, while those who choose to serve themselves are placed on the pathway to learn the negative distortions of self-love. Furthermore, this fourth sub-density is the sub-density of choice in the level of third density consciousness. Furthermore, the fifth sub-density of third density revolves around the choice made in the fourth sub-density. After the choice is made in the fourth sub-density, entities are given the lessons necessary to master either service to others or service to self. This means that the positive pathway revolves around learning, love, and serve others, while the negative pathway involves mastering self-love and serving oneself. Furthermore, we shall now address the sixth sub-density of the third density level of evolution. In this level, the entities begin to enter higher states of emotional consciousness, such as the states of love, joy, and peace. If they are on the positive pathway, and those on the negative pathway may enter lower vibration states which may lead to more separation from others. Further, This leads to the seventh sub-density of consciousness, wherein entities are allowed the process of mastery of the states chosen in the previous density level. We correct this instrument in the previous sub-density level, that of the sixth sub-density. Based on the choices made in the previous sub-density, entities choose a lifestyle that reflects their chosen state of consciousness, such as learning to stabilize in the lessons of love, joy, and peace for those on the positive pathway, and those on the negative pathway. The lessons involve mastery, learning the lower vibrational states of consciousness. Furthermore, this leads to the eighth sub-density, wherein this is the unification or the graduation point, wherein each entity becomes eligible for graduation into the fourth density, New Earth vibration. Further, the eighth sub-density is the unification into the fourth density and the beginning stage of the fourth density consciousness. Furthermore, we must also state that many a times the entities on the Earth planet are able to experience these levels of consciousness. We correct these levels of consciousness to a deeper level, in a fashion which may not be necessarily in a linear or a hierarchical fashion. Furthermore, some entities may experience different levels of consciousness simultaneously and many a times are able to move back and forth between levels of consciousness throughout their existence. Furthermore, these levels are just one methods or one model of consciousness progression and should not be seen as the only way to understand or categorize the densities of consciousness. Further, we shall now address the other portion of the query, which relates with a simple method for enlightenment. As requested, we must state that the practice of observing the so-called observer is a necessary component of self-awareness, and this can help each mind, body, and spirit complex develop a deeper sense of self-awareness and understanding of their own processes within the minds. This practice involves to become aware of the observer, which means to shift the attention from the thought forms of one's mind complex and focus on the presence of the observer that is observing those thought forms. And this shift of the focus of the presence of the observer will allow each entity to have a ability to shift their attention and focus upon the observer and become self-aware to such an extent that this awareness will lead to the culmination of entry points into the unification with the one creator. Furthermore, this is different from observing the thought forms and other patterns, as this is to directly observe the observer. This will allow entities to develop a greater sense of control over thought forms and feelings. Furthermore, by focusing on the observer, there can be a development of a sense of detachment from thoughts and mind patterns, which can help in the entry towards higher states of vibration. We must state that the best way to begin practicing observing the observer can begin from a practice of firstly sensing the observer and finding where it is inside the mind complex, and then becoming aware of this observer that is within the mind complex. By becoming aware of the observer, The entire focus of attention is placed on the aspect of the observer that will allow for the sensation of any attention to be given to any other aspects. This may lead to the complete focus inside the mind complex, leading to greater clarity and understanding. This will also lead to a process of sensing greater peace and inner balance, leading to the state of enlightenment. Hence we, the Pleiadians, shall now leave you in light and love of the One Creator. Bye.
So my friends, let me explain to you what I have basically understood from the session. So basically the Pleiadians have said that the next phase of the Looking Glass events for the month of April 2023 involves, I believe, the negative entities. They are planning to attack on the sun, and because the sunlight has some kind of green light which is required for the plants to generate chlorophyll, I believe, for photosynthesis, for creation of food products, because ultimately every food product we consume comes directly or indirectly from plant life, and green light is very important for the process of photosynthesis as stated, and they are trying to create a device that will capture the green light, thereby the light will not have the green light, and that will, I believe, pause the evolution of the Earth planet if they are successful. Hopefully we and the Astral Command, as they stated, are trying to protect our planet from this, so we will be able to do the meditation and we'll be able to protect once again. The other interesting thing about this session is revolving the sub-densities of the third density of consciousness. So the firstly, let me explain to you the first sub-density. They said that this is the basic level where entities become they are barely self-aware, and then they slowly and steadily merge into second sub-density, wherein they learn to overcome survival and fear, and then they enter into third sub-density wherein they have desires, and I believe this is the point wherein the ego mind comes in. And then there is the fourth sub-density wherein all entities have to make the choice of choosing to either serve others or serve the self. And then the fifth sub-density is based on the choice made in the fourth sub-density. The lessons will be given to further advance in that lesson, okay? And then the sixth sub-density involves, if the person has chosen a path of service to others, there will be more learning of love, joy, peace, and other higher states of emotional consciousness. Opportunities will be given, and if the path is negative, then lower vibrational states will be learned. And the seventh sub-density involves mastering the state chosen in the sixth sub-density. So if a person has chosen service to others, they will find themselves mastering love, service to others more and more, and the same for the other way around. This will lead to the eighth sub-density, which is, I believe, the graduation point, leading into the fourth density, okay? So I have understood this, and I hope you have also understood from the session the levels of sub-densities of third density. And finally, a simple method for enlightenment. It's amazing. I am using this right now. What they have said is basically to observe the observer. So every single time you have a thought form, if you pay attention to it, there is something that is observing the thought, right? There's something inside of you that is observing the thought. So what you need to do is you need to observe that observer. So how do you do that? It's very simple. You need to focus where the observer is and observe it. Like it's like saying look into your eyes. Okay, same kind of thing. So you observe the observer, and then it's amazing. I mean, this method is practically one of the best methods you can use for enlightenment, as they stated. And I want to say thank you to all of you for watching this session, and also thank you to all of you for sending me requests for your past life, your soul identity, and any other information you need. I'll help you out when I get free time. You can send it on my email. And also thank you to all of you for joining on the Patreon, where I upload certain censored sessions and other updates which are not allowed by YouTube, as well as we do meditations and other sessions are found on my Patreon. And also thank you to all of you for liking this video, and until next time, I hope you will enjoy this session over here, my friends. Thank you.